Have multiple visuals on your screen right now from both Dharali as well as Sukhi Top. You can see how the downpour, or rather the cloudburst, or rather the deluge, hit these two areas, impacting lives. 50 so far have gone missing, and there is confirmation of 4 dead in Dharali and Sukhi Top. For those who just joined us on this broadcast, this is news coming in from Uttarakhand, in Uttarkashi actually. Twin cloudbursts in both Dharali as well as Sukhi Top. All right, let's also tell you that no casualties have been reported so far, but many have been feared. Washed away authorities say the next 24 hours will be crucial. The Uttarkashi police reconfirmed that relief and rescue operations are underway. Meanwhile, we have a guest, an expert, whom we shall go across to, Vimalendu Jha, environmentalist. Mr.
Activity that should be carried out, and more so in a fragile ecosystem like the Himalayas. Despite these warning signs that we've seen in 2013, we've seen cloudbursts take place in Kedarnath. We saw cloudbursts, we saw tunnel collapse last year. We've seen Joshi Mutt, actually the entire town sinking. The nature has given us a lot of warning signs. And despite that, if you look at the mushrooming of structures and all around in this visual,
Mr. Jha, that's what Mr. Jha, that's what I wanted to ask. You're absolutely right, and we've taken cognizance, as in we, the people, that it sits Uttarakhand sits on a very fragile, kind of environmentally fragile, geologically fragile area, that being the Himalayas. But also, one would like to understand today and not sit on judgment, because there is a devastation that we are all today kind of, mourning, villages being wiped out, people lost, livestock. I mean, this is something which no one really wishes upon the other. But do you think it is more human induced, for lack of any other phrase, as it were, or is it the resultant of what is called as the largest sweep, which being climate change, Mr. Jha?
No, so that's what I'm saying, that we cannot brush aside and hide behind this great term called climate change, because what it therefore does is puts this squarely in the category of natural disaster, and then what happens, that business as usual continues. It's moments like these is when we need to ask those difficult questions of ourselves and our system. And when I say system, it's not just the state, but overall civilizational growth, development, the path that we are at. And those difficult questions need to be asked on the eve of the morning, or the day of the morning, or the day of the disaster as well. It is indeed, cloudburst is not done by a human being. It's not some short circuit that has happened somewhere because of some manual error. Indeed, it's a climate event. But what is climate event? Largely climate phenomena, or these large heat waves and cloudbursts, is also because of our generational civilizational greed that is leading to space agnostic climate conditions. Now, in that, when we talk about a climate era, then ecologically fragile zones, it could be coastal areas, it could be Himalayas. We've seen the kind of disaster, the damage that's been going on in Mandi and various other parts of Himachal Pradesh. And it's not just first time, we've seen it last 3-4 years in that sense. Then we have to be more careful. And then we look at when the damage, perhaps say, if these buildings, these structures, or these hydroelectric power plants, or these road widening projects hadn't happened. By the way, you need to understand and tell your viewers, what do you see flowing in that post-cloud burst? That's actually silt that is flowing. Where is that silt coming from in that particular area upstream of this particular village? There's innate dumping of debris and construction waste and silt because of widening of projects and tunnel construction that have taken place all over Himalayas. 889 kilometers of multi-lane road makes our life very, very convenient, makes us swifter. But does it make us smarter? It might make us very, very fast, but also makes us very, very vulnerable. Carrying capacity is a very, very important term. Carrying capacity of Himalayas needs to be assessed. The kind of road that you actually build in a Gurgaon cannot be the kind of road or a structure that you actually build
Absolutely. I mean,
perhaps
you know,
in
Mr.
Himalayas.
Jha, I remember whenever we've had tragedies around tunnels and the recent ones that we've seen, we've always spoken about how we need to change our approach. So, Mr. Jha, we all live amongst what we already know and we are converts to it, which is the impact or the anomalies which climate change creates. Also, we know about this, what is in the name of development, you know, the way we are plundering the Himalayas particularly. We're talking about this region, so let me focus on that. And also about, we know what really for many people who have relatives living there or, you know, friends or whatever, they must be thinking, why is it, Vimalendu Jha, that you and I know everything about everything, but we still do not take any measures? Or is it something where measures cannot come like that, Mr. Jha?
It's not an individual measure that you and I can take. You and I are not widening the roads. Perhaps government
No,
tells us that
sir, Mr. Jha, before, let me clarify, sir, I'm sorry for interjecting. I didn't mean you and I as people, I mean that the authorities, as it were. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So, exactly. So that's where I'm coming at. So we are talking about a development model in the name of people. What we do, we squarely, and therefore we are talking about our development paradigm. What it ends up doing is, in the name of people, it tries to further concretization of our natural resources. So, and it all looks very, very fancy in the short run, as in perhaps it took 10 hours to go to Gangotri and now it takes only 5. You know, there's this fancy ads that you see that you can actually reach Dehradun in 3.5 hours, in Jaipur in 2.5. All of that looks and sounds very well. What are you actually saving time for? You might be saving perhaps cumulatively 100 hours in your lifetime by zipping across these fancy roads, but you're actually losing millions and millions of lives. And not just that, you're also losing intergenerational natural resource, natural capital. And that's fair. As when that silt that we're talking about, the construction developmental activities that are going on, the road activities, and all these are fancy projects. So at the end of the day, it's the responsibility of the government. That's the custodian. They are the ones that actually, and by the way, it is not about a particular party, or so it's not about BJP or Congress or anyone. Across political lines, most political parties right now, we're trying to ape a development model which is not sustainable. It is anti-poor, it is anti-nature, and anti-poor and anti-nature in that sense, or anti-village, was earlier called as if it's a socialist model. No, it's a survival we are talking about.